I'm here at the Otay Mesa port of entry, and as you can see here, this area covered by steel plates. This is actually where Border Patrol agents made access to an illegal drug smuggling tunnel. For commuters along Campo Road here, there is still, I'm just looking beyond the camera, just a little bit more of a backup for people going away from the fire. But we'll continue to monitor the scene here again at Skyline Church. We've seen several vegetation fires just like the one behind me here within the last 5 weeks or so across San Diego County. And as you can see with this nearby home, it's the defensible space that made the biggest difference and saved it. But now the DMV is saying come October 1st, everyone out on the roads in California will have to follow the same rules as it pertains to driving in these carpool lanes, and that's to avoid any potential citations. The study really highlights the connection between the Tijuana River and the water and how it's interacting with the air. These are conditions that we've been used to since the start of this year, and with back-to-back wet winters, now we're really seeing the impacts from all the rain across the state. This is all part of a simulated exercise. You can see fire crews here at the base of this hill. They've already laid hose down, they've sprayed down the vegetation, but these crews are going to continue working their way up this hillside. It's the first of its kind, a solar-powered car. And when you see it out on the roads, you're probably going to want to take a second look. There's so much that's out of your control during a wildfire, but there are certain steps that you can take to make your home a little bit more fire resistant, and it starts just within 5 feet of your front door. Commander Dominic, thank you so much for joining us. We'll get right to it. It's great to speak with you. You've been aboard the International Space Station since March as commander of NASA's SpaceX Crew 8 mission, and I wanted you to kind of take me through your role as a flight engineer. What does that entail, and what does an average day look like for you? We heard from the director of transportation with the city, and she tells us that since last week's storm and really over the last 5 days, more than 4 miles of channels have been cleared out, and they're expecting to wrap up that work by tonight. Nichelle and Catherine, Lemon Grove School District and La Mesa Spring Valley School District both received that letter from the Department of Education yesterday, and they call these cuts unprecedented. Meantime, parents are wondering how all of this is going to impact their students' futures.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us on NBC7 News at 4. I'm Mark Mullen.
And I'm Michelle Medina. Catherine and Monica are off today. People in the South Bay have long complained about headaches, respiratory problems, and stomach aches. They believe their air is polluted by sewage from the Tijuana River.
Well, it's not just anecdotal stuff. Now there is new research that basically shows the toxic levels of hydrogen sulfide, commonly known as sewer gas, at times was being released from the Tijuana River 70 times past the state regulations. NBC7's Brooke Martell joins us now with a story.
Yeah, Mark and Nichelle, the lead researcher of this study, says that the data that was collected here really aligns with what locals have been saying all along, and it has to do with the smell that's coming from here, this portion of the Tijuana River. Now, in addition to that, the study really highlights the connection between the Tijuana River and the water and how it's interacting with the air.
Well, you smell it definitely more than you used to.
Kevin Lee Anderson has lived in and around Nestor in the South Bay community for over 50 years. The last few, he says the smell from the sewage that flows through the Tijuana River from Mexico to the U.S. has only gotten worse.
I got a buddy that lives up on Saturn, and in front of his house at like around 5:30, you start smelling a stench.
A newly published study in the journal Science from UC San Diego and SDSU, as well as other agencies, is highlighting this is more than an odor problem. When there were higher levels of hydrogen sulfide in the air, locals could smell it, and they could feel it too, with symptoms of nausea and respiratory issues also.
And so you can see right away this waterfall behaves very much like a breaking wave, and it creates lots of bubbles and lots of foam, and that is one of the big reasons why this area, when you stand near this spot, the concentrations can sort of bowl you over. They are very, very intense.
A foul smell like rotten eggs that comes from this hot spot here on Saturn Boulevard. Dr. Kimberly Prather of Scripps Institution of Oceanography at UC San Diego is the lead scientist of the study from September 2024. The scientists set up air quality instruments here in Nestor, which ultimately found the connection between the pollution from the river and how it impacted the air, especially at night when the stench can be unbearable.
Just to calibrate you, urban levels of hydrogen sulfide gas are less than 1 ppb. We're detecting parts per billion. We're detecting 4,500 at peak, 4,500 times higher than that.
The data from the science and locals align. So what is next as researchers work to address the long-term impacts from this years-long crisis?
How do we remove that hot spot? How do we get rid of the turbulence? But the water needs to be clean. The river needs to be clean. The sources need to be discovered and figured out. We're working on that now.
Prather says it's not just the hydrogen sulfide that is dangerous to breathe in, but there are about 1,700 gases total that were detected in their study. Now, in the meantime, Supervisor Paloma Aguirre will be meeting with the San Diego County Air Pollution Control District to really work to get more air filters into the homes of South Bay residents. We're live in Nestor today. I'm Brooke Martell, NBC7.
All right, Brooke, thank you.
For months, a neighborhood group has been voicing concern about a proposed 14-story residential high-rise near Mission Hills.
The developer now telling NBC7 that the project is on hold as they evaluate. NBC7's Brooke Martell has details on where the project stands and why neighbors were against it in the first place.
If you walk around this Middletown neighborhood, you'll see signs posted just like this one, protesting a proposed 14-story residential high-rise that would potentially be built on the hillside behind me here. Neighbors tell me they're not against new construction in this neighborhood. They just say that they want it to be done with the community in mind.
Change is important and adapting is important, but change needs to be something that matters to the community and that makes sense with the community.
It's a sentiment Mariana Aguilar shares with her fellow members of a grassroots neighborhood group called Stop Columbia High Rise.
I think new development on these two lots would be great for the community. However, it's irresponsible what the developer is seeking to do.
Scott Case and Aguilar say a proposed high-rise packs too many people into the neighborhood, bringing traffic, parking congestion, and safety concerns.
My area up the hill is an enclave that if there were an emergency, our residents would not be able to get out.
The Saline residence proposed for Columbia Street would have 161 units, parking included. The developer, Ahmed Eldami, told NBC7 that the project would address housing needs for the city, but he added the pushback from the community has forced a reevaluation of the design.
The project is currently on hold and we are going through a redesign process. I know a lot of people are anxious when would that design will be rolled out.
There's another problem. The new Port Inglewood Rose Canyon fault zone runs right through the stretch of Columbia Street. Eldami said the company is working with engineers to see whether the fault will affect this project. In an email to NBC7, the city's Development Services Geology section said, staff has not accepted the site-specific geotechnical investigation prepared for this project by the applicant team. The review is still in progress as there are outstanding elements that need to be addressed by the applicant. In the meantime, Aguilar hopes the neighborhood's concerns reach Eldami.
I would love to welcome him to our Uptown Community Planning Group or to the community in general, so that he can actually hear from us.
Brooke Martell reporting, according to the city, there are no building permits provided for the project and it's in a preliminary stage.